You ready?
I'm so ready.
I'm so ready. Here we go. All right, FU1. Here we go.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
Not everyone wants to go to Yale because not everyone wants to be Blair Waldorf.
She doesn't even go here!
I'm not looking for a man.
I'm in. Ready to party!
Welcome to the first official episode ever of Chicks University. I am planning for this show to cover so many different topics and areas of life relevant to college. So I really wanted to make sure I started this show the right way. And after thinking about it, I decided, what better place to start than the beginning? And the beginning is freshman year. And let's go back with someone who just recently made it to the end. One of my best friends, Luisa.
Hello! I could not be more excited to be here right now.
I'm so glad you're like the first person to be on my show.
I'm
Luisa
so
and
I'm so honored.
We became best friends at BU. We clicked like so fast. We're so similar.
Yeah.
And Luisa, she's so special, and she just really embodies what it's like to be a girl in college. I feel like you're a good stereotype for the population overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's the perfect guest. How would you describe yourself? Your personality, your social crew, how you feel like you were identified in college?
Okay. In college, I feel like my identity was definitely, I was in a sorority, so that was a huge part of my college career. My friends were all in my sorority. I would say that we would go out a lot. So I would say like I'm extroverted. I love to go out. I love to have fun. You do these types of qualities. Is that what you?
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting too because like Greek life isn't that big at BU, and we'll get into that later, but it's like I feel like it was such a big part of the person that you were. Yes. And I never thought that like Greek life was big at our school.
So it's really small, but like it's whatever you make of it. So if I were like 100% like all my friends are going to be this like in Greek life, then like that's what you would get out of it.
Yeah.
If you only wanted to be a bit involved, then that's what you would get out of it.
Yeah. And it goes like that way for so many things in college.
Exactly.
So basically the inspiration for this episode came from a few weeks ago. We hung out for the first time in a while, and you were telling me that you were with a couple of your younger friends, and you were just like, man, like I feel like I had so much advice to give to them, and like the things I would do to be able to like go back and tell my freshman year self this. Tell me a little bit about that situation, that conversation.
Right. So this was like a few weeks ago, and younger girls still in my sorority, I guess, were like debating going out or something like that. And I'm so much of a proponent of like always go out, but also like be responsible, whatever. But I was like, if I could tell myself right now in college, like looking back, like I loved college, like they were the best 4 years of my life, I would be like, take every single opportunity. Well, so many things, but that particular time I was like, take every opportunity that you get. Like even if it's one, going out that night, or I don't know, meeting new people, going on a event. Like, I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Just like take advantage of every opportunity.
Every opportunity you get, whether that be literally go out with like one friend, like just do it. Why not? Like, instead of staying home, I was like, I've graduated now, and I look back and I'm like, God, like I wish I went out more, explored more, was more involved. Like all of these things that I wish I knew before I got to college.
Yeah. And it's like when you get to college, nobody hands you a guidebook and it's like, this is everything you should actually know. So hopefully this episode will be that guidebook for everybody from two very recent college grads, best friends, everything we wish we could tell our freshman selves. Here we go. First and foremost, roommates.
Roommates,
man. Did you ever have a roommate before getting to college? Like, did you ever share a bedroom with someone?
No.
Me neither.
Never.
I have a sister. We never shared a room.
Okay, I have 2 sisters, and I did share a room with her, but, like, I don't remember it.
So, like, to me, finding a roommate was horrific.
Exactly.
I've never shared a room. I've never, like, shared my space with somebody like that before. And I was like, I don't even know what qualities I'm looking for in a roommate because I don't know what I like. I've never lived with someone.
And I think that that's the exact same thing that I thought, but I didn't think much of it. So I was like, oh, I'm going off to college. Like, I have to get a roommate now. So let's just, like, find whatever we can get, you know? Like, I didn't really think much of it. You at least, like, probably were like, I need someone who, you know, like, matches my living.
Yeah.
Like,
so how did you go about finding a roommate?
Yeah, so this is one of the things that I would help you, like, give advice to. I basically went on BU 2020, class of 2020, Facebook group chat, and I started reading through the posts, and I found this girl who just kind of wrote this post down, and she was like, I like working out, I want to live in West Campus, which is where I wanted to live at BU, and I'm in the business school, and those 3 things, I was like, period, like, we're the same person. Like, I want to work out.
So she did, like, the paragraph, like, everything about me, what they think the most important qualities are, which is what I think every school has a Facebook group, and I think this is what most people do, is they just join their Facebook group, whatever class they're attending graduation is, and everyone just posts their paragraphs about themselves, and it's like literally like a dating website. Yeah. Like, what you post is your dating website profile, and like, I literally feel like every single girl in those group chats were like, I care about my grades, but I still like to have some fun. Every single one. Am I wrong? Like, no, every girl.
You're completely right. And, like, just know that everyone else is literally in that same exact boat. And, like, then you'll look back and laugh at your Facebook posts, because I can literally guarantee, like, so many people will be like, oh, remember when we talked on Facebook? And you'll also be in contact with girls that you don't live with that then you'll be friends with, and it'll be, like, funny. But I only messaged this one girl because I was like, she has these 3 things: perfect, business school, athletics, lives in West Campus. I'm there. So I messaged her.
And how did it work out?
I messaged her, and I was like, I saw your post. I think that we have all of these things in common. I'd love to live with you. And that's how we lived together.
And it was good? No. It wasn't.
Okay, so this is one of my first things. One, I would say, like, if you're living with only one specific person, like, don't be best friends with them. But that's a lie, because I do like being best friends with the one person I live with. But in this specific scenario, like, I came in not knowing her, or anyone in Boston for that matter. Like, I'm from Texas, so, like, I had literally no idea who anyone was. No one in my high school was there, so she was my only friend to begin with. And I did everything with her. I literally did everything with her, including going to class. So, like, we had the same schedule, and we would live in the same room.
Like, you were 24/7 on the same schedule.
Exactly. And it was good, and it was fine in the beginning, but then, like, I wouldn't even say that, like, we did have a falling out, but I wouldn't say that, like, we're not, like, okay.
Was it, like, a little too much?
It was just a little too much. And, like, it just became, like, overbearing and, like, suffocating, and so I then had to, like, take a step back. And then I ended up going through recruitment. She didn't, so then we actually really had our space, and, like, we're fine. Like, if I saw her, like, I don't have, like, issues with anyone, but, like, I would say take your space. Like, it's so nice to, like, get there and be like, oh my god, I don't have really much friends, like, I'm just gonna stick with this, and, like, this is my safe space, thank god I have a friend now, I could do things with her. And yeah, do it, but, like, don't be like, this is gonna be my, like, I don't know,
like my number one that I'm gonna do everything with. It's like, it's almost too much. You need a break from everybody.
Yeah.
I was in a different boat because I went to the University of Alabama my freshman year, and at that school, it's very typical that you live in a 4-person suite your first year, which is, like, typically in college, that's what you do as, like, a junior or senior at Boston University. Every school does it different, but almost everybody had, like, 4 people in their rooms. I met my one roommate, and, like, we couldn't have been more polar opposite on paper. I mean, I didn't even try in high school. She was her school's valedictorian. She was the only child, born and raised in Georgia, and, like, it was just, like, literally the most perfect person on paper. Like, that was so not the person that I was in high school.
My roommate is also an only child.
I was just like nervous about it, and we ended up being great friends. We were very different, but like it worked. And then we had like another roommate that just got thrown into our room with us, who like, I think there were like restraining orders almost being filed. Like it was insane. So basically, I think my like piece of advice on this situation is, no matter how perfect somebody can look on paper, like you never know what you're gonna get in person. I mean, our 4th roommate just never even showed up at school. It was the 3rd roommate's best friend from home. She like decided not to go to college 2 days before moving, so we had an extra room in college. We used her desk as like a beer pong table. Like her room was like the party room in our suite. But I lucked out because I had my own bedroom. Like I could go get my own alone time. And a lot of people don't have that freshman year. A lot of people are like stuck with their roommate like all the time. So yeah.
And it's the worst to live with someone that like you're not comfortable with. Like that is the number one thing I would say. To live with someone that you're comfortable with and that you're okay with, and that you know that you won't have to like walk in and like walk on eggshells in the place that you should be the most comfortable in.
What would you say to people who go to college with like one of their best friends from high school? Should they live together, yes or no, and why?
Okay, so immediately my thought would be no, because I want you to, and this is my little sister, because she went to college and she lives with her best friend now, but they have a 3rd roommate. But I was like, I don't want you to do that. Like, I don't want you to do that. I want you to experience new friends, because, you know, you might get like, you might only want to do things with her and not branch out and whatever. They ended up being in different sororities, so it's fine, because she met a lot of people. But I would say if your college allows you to have more than one roommate, yes, live with your best friend from high school and with like the 1 extra or 2 extra. But if it's just you two, live in the same building if you can, but have different roommates. And I think that having your best friend in college is actually really nice. Like I would have loved that, but yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world to have lived with someone that I don't know, because now I know like how important it is to live with someone that you know that you can live with. And you don't learn that you know that you can live with someone until you're in college, or that living with your best friend can literally ruin your friendship.
Yeah, because I'm from Massachusetts, and a lot of people like go to school here. They'll go to UNH or like UMass. Everybody goes to UMass. It's like high school 2.0. But there were so many girlfriend groups where like 2 girls would be going to the same school, and everyone would be like, don't live with her. Like, don't live with like your high school best friend. Like 2 girls I know very well ended up going. They were like, you know, screw it. Like, we're going to be roommates. They're still best friends. And then I also know girls who knew each other, went to school, they were best friends, and now they don't even talk. So it's like, it's a tricky situation. You really need to know like your friendship and know how much you can tolerate that person, because when you live with someone, you are with them all the time. One of the funniest parts is one of my best friends from Massachusetts came to the University of Alabama with me freshman year, and everyone told us not to live together. They're like, go meet new people. Leaving Alabama, she's my best friend. Her friend group was my best friend group. So it's like we tried like to go our separate ways and stuff, but it's like at the end of the day, we were best friends for a reason. We were drawn to each other for a reason, and like those qualities about each other didn't change just because we moved across the country to go to college. So I am glad that like I tried to meet other friends, but her friend group essentially just became my best friend group. And like when I go and see them and we all like meet up and hang out and I'm gonna go visit, like I'm going to see one of my best friends, two of my best friends from Massachusetts at Alabama.
That's crazy. And like, not to say that that's not like perfect, that's literally perfect, you know, but I'm just saying like be wary about it.
I actually don't think she like talks to any of the girls she lived with her freshman year anymore either. Like, so it's like I would recommend trying to meet new people and going your separate ways, but like don't be embarrassed if you want to stick with your friends from high school.
And it's not even that like living with them is bad. I'm just saying if it will deter you from branching out and branching out, then that's when it's bad. But if you don't think that will happen, 100% live with your best friend. Like I would have if I could have, I think. So
once you get to college, everybody is in the same boat, just trying to make friends. They're trying to meet people, find friends, find their friend group. We had very different beginnings of college.
We do, but we ended up
we ended up together, which like it's gravity. It'll pull you. It'll pull the friendships that are meant to be together. But how did you meet people at Boston University? Because yeah, you were in Greek life, but BU doesn't do recruitment until second semester.
Right.
So what was first semester like?
So first semester for me was actually like miserable. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But I obviously had my good moments. Like, so it ended up being that the girl that lived in my, like, next door to me was a girl from my hometown's, like, friend of mine, her cousin. Like, so
that was so confusing.
Yeah. So, like, a friend of mine from home in Texas, her cousin ended up living next to me freshman year.
Okay.
And I don't know how we were, like, moving in and our parents, like, started, like, you know when someone speaks Spanish, I knew this girl spoke Spanish. My parents
Luisa's bilingual.
Yeah.
We get it. I didn't meet her until I was done taking Spanish, which stinks, but
literally, because I take everyone's Spanish class. But so my parents kind of just started talking to their parents, and we started talking, and then we found that out, and we were like, this is insane. Like, insane. But I met people, so I would meet people through my roommate. My roommate's best friend from high school went to BU.
Okay.
And she lived in a different dorm, but
they were best friends. They went their separate ways, but then they connected to meet new people and hang out with each other.
Right. Okay. But they had a weird history where, like, they had, like, a falling out in high school, but they were like, let's try again in college.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Oh.
That was a huge part of why my whole experience with my roommate was bad, because I ended up being and still am close to her best friend from high school.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she, like, connected you guys, and then you guys were both like...
And she was, and so that's why it was, like, super
So were you,
messy.
like, just, like, going to random social events? Like...
So I would go to, like, friends of my... So as I said, my next door neighbor was, like, spoke Spanish. She was Mexican. Mm-hmm. So she knew, like, I'm sorry, but, like, if you're Hispanic or Latin or whatever, like, you have connections, like, everywhere. And so she had a bunch of connections.
It's a family.
Yes. At Suffolk University. So we would go out at other schools with the Latin crew.
And Suffolk's like 15 minutes from BU, like not even.
Yeah, straight in the city. We would go out there, and it was all like the Hispanic community in Boston that are college students, I would say.
That's so
That's
cool.
mostly what I did first semester, I would say. And then I also would go to like these like random frat parties that I was invited to, because you're always invited to frat parties.
To random frat parties. So when a random boy came up to you and was like, hey, we're having a frat party, like a party at our house tonight, you should go, you went.
I would probably go. I'd read
Same. I did too.
Yeah, I'd read the address and be like, yes, we're going to. And
like, you literally get a random address and you're just like, all right, girls, grab your bags.
Exactly.
We're going.
But I would say the girls, like, or at least what I noticed, and like looking back, the girls that like would have the most to do and know where to go, because as a freshman, you have literally no idea where to go.
And it's like you could be getting invited to like the best place or the most sketchy place ever. You have no idea. They're both just addresses to you.
Exactly. You have no idea where you're going, whatever. But like, if you have a guy connection that goes to the same college as you, I would say literally benefit from that as much as you can. As much as you can. That's
exactly what I did when I got to Bama. I met somebody who was like, I don't even think I ever met him. I think we were like social media mutual followers. It was like a friend of a friend. And he was in a frat, and like I got to Bama and messaged him on Instagram. He's like, oh yeah, like I think they did rush first semester, the guys. Yeah, they both did. And he was like, oh, come to this house party. We'd go to random off-campus parties. I was like driving the bus. I was getting all my roommates, all of the girls across the hall. I'm like, come on, let's go. And we would go to these wicked random house parties. I couldn't even tell you one person that was there because I never talked to them after like first semester. Yeah. But it's like, that's what you do. And everybody goes because everyone's just trying to make friends.
Exactly. And so that's what I did. And I don't think it fulfilled me like even a little bit.
And that's the funniest part too, is like you get to college and it seems like it's like a competition with the people from high school. It's like, who's having more fun? Who's meeting better friends?
And even then, not even...
It's so ingenuine.
Not even with the people in high school, because I had no one from high school, but I still thought that like the girls that I met, like that I would meet like in passing or whatever, that they knew where to go more than I did. And
Yeah.
like it feels like a competition, but like, let me stress it to you,
It's not.
It's not.
And the funniest part is the people that you hang out with first semester are not going to be your friends from college. Period.
No. And like,
exclamation point. Like, no. No.
Period. Like, if you do, then like that's super nice. And like, I'm still friends with the like 2 of the girls that I like was friends, but like my life completely changed.
Everyone's just latching onto each other, and like you think you're like, oh, I met my people, and then time goes by and you're like, we don't really have that much in common. Like, we clicked because we were both new to college and wanted to go out. It's not like a real friendship at all.
Exactly.
Exactly. The people you meet first semester of college probably won't be your friends.
Yeah.
Which is just like even more so why I would stress, like, I transferred, and I'll talk about that later, but I gave it 2 semesters. I like felt like I wasn't like finding my people and stuff. I would highly recommend giving any school at least 2 semesters.
Always.
Because both at Alabama and then when I transferred to BU, it took me 2 semesters to find my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I was at BU for at least 6 months before I even met you.
Exactly. And also, my first semester, like after coming back, I went home and I was literally, I would look up transfer applications all the time, and I was like this close, and I was sitting right before flying back to Boston with my dad, and I was like, I don't want to go back. I do not want to go back. And he was like, 1 more semester. Give it 1 more semester. You can't gauge what a school is in 1 semester.
No.
And I was like, you know what, you're right. And I did, and look at me now.
Yep.
But
The queen of BU.
stop. Absolutely not. But I will say that a small story on that, like the competition thing, like my roommate started becoming friends with these girls on my floor, and those girls were like, in my eyes, freshman year, they were like, oh, those girls like really went out. They were friends with like sports teams because they had connections from high school, as I'm saying.
To you, they're like the it girls.
Yeah,
so I want to be in that friend
right.
group.
So I'm like, oh my God, like they're cool, whatever. Like I want to be friends with them. Fast forward, and like they like, I was just like their friend's roommate. Like I wasn't like included, you know, whatever. As a freshman, like that hurts. Now looking back, it's fine, but
it always hurts.
and then they ended up like literally being not to say this in a rude way, but like so irrelevant to my life, and like
You just went your separate ways.
right. And so that's what I'm saying, like freshman year, if you think that like this is a competition, these girls are like cool, they're whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
Oh my God, it's
Like
a
just
fizzle out.
give it time. Like
Every school has every school has like those groups of girls, and you're like, I want to be a part of that friend group. Like, it'll fizzle.
And
You'll meet your friends when you're meant to meet your friends, no matter who seems like they're getting invited to all these parties, they're doing this or doing that. Like, you'll meet your
and
people.
freshman year, you're just so desperate.
So desperate. I like the most desperate human being. And just getting into it even more, Greek life. That's like one of the immediate things people are like, this is the way to make friends. I remember I knew a girl at Bama who didn't rush, and she was like, I was like, oh, like, why don't you want to rush? Because like everybody rushes at Bama. And she's like, you're just paying for friends. And I was like, well, none of my friends ended up being the girls that were in my sorority for 2 weeks. But yeah, like whatever. Like yeah, 2 weeks. Not to brag. I was a SRAC girl for 2 whole weeks.
You were an honorary SRAC girl. That's all I have to say.
No, I'm an honorary frat girl. I am forever trying to create my own fraternity because I will never be a sorority girl. And that's the funniest
part. Do you know
part.
what, though? Alpha Phi is a fraternity.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have to say.
I think Alpha Phi is the queens of sororities, actually. I think Chicks University
Well,
is a fraternity.
It is Alpha Phi.
This is Alpha Chicks University.
Okay. Perfect.
Gamma Apple Pi Beta edition.
Exactly.
But it's very different at different schools. The importance of it, how much it influences your social life. Like, do you need to be in Greek life to have a social life at school? And it's so funny because I went to Alabama and joined Greek life, and that was like the Greek life school in my eyes. And then I go to BU where Greek life literally isn't even it's not even near the comparison. I don't even know how many people are involved in it at BU. Like the percent.
I think
it's probably so minuscule.
It's from 15 to 20.
That's so interesting.
Or I could be wrong, but
I
think
it's
14.
less than that, honestly.
I think it might have been 14.
But like it impacts your experience so much. And at Bama, rush was first semester. I had to go to school 2 weeks early to rush. 2 weeks early. I moved in before the other freshmen to go through
That's
recruitment.
crazy.
And then
That's
you
crazy.
go to like Boston University, you don't even do
Wait a
recruitment
whole
until second semester,
Yeah.
which is so
It's
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how much did it impact you once you finally rushed and like found that group?
In like every single way, 100%, if I could say that. I always knew that I wanted to join a sorority. So for example, if you're going to a school like BU where it's not huge, if you're thinking about it, go through recruitment. If you're even slightly curious about it, just do it. Just do it. You're not losing anything. Okay, maybe a few dollars, but to go through.
Details.
Because
just
you
a
know
couple
you
of
do have
facts.
to pay to go through. Yeah. And also that, but like no, but I'm saying that just to go through recruitment, you do have to pay.
Yeah.
But like in the long run, like if there's so many girls that I remember going through, especially at BU, I don't know about other schools actually, but that were like, I didn't think I was a sorority girl, and then I went through recruitment and like, look at me now, whatever. But like I would say for me, I knew I wanted to join one. Especially being from Texas and whatever, I just knew that I wanted to. So I knew that that was my path. I had to wait a semester. And then once I did, like, again, I wanted to transfer. Once I did, it changed everything. Like, completely.
All your best friends were in your sorority.
All of them. And they still are.
Yeah.
Like, and those best friends are, like the same or even stronger relationships than my friends from home that I, like, have met since I was 0. So... yeah, it completely changed. That's why I'm saying if you think that you maybe want to, 100%, because the support that you'll gain and like going through recruitment, like it has a negative stigma, I feel like.
100%.
Right?
Oh, the most negative.
Okay.
From an outside point of view,
outside point of
at the school, it's like, but then like it's also like, I feel like at BU, the girls that go through recruitment, that's like viewed as by the public as like those are the social girls at the school.
Yeah. So it's weird because at BU 100% you can have your own life if you are not in Greek life. 100%. But
What do you mean?
I feel like you could
Did I not have my own life? No, I'm kidding.
That's what
I didn't have a life at all because I wasn't in Greek life.
that's cap. No, I'm saying you can like most people do. But if you want to join, then like that, I don't know. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
You're saying if you're even thinking about joining, like you consider it for a minute, do it.
Do
If
it.
you question
if
it,
you're
do it.
considering for a minute, do it. Because if you hate it, you drop out of the process. It's whatever. It's
There's
little
no problem.
whatever.
That's exactly what I did at Alabama. Everybody was like, you are the epitome of a sorority girl. You're so bubbly. Like, you're so social. You would love this stuff. Like, I love doing, like, philanthropic events. Like, I was like, oh, this is so me. And I think I hated Greek life at Alabama more than any girl that's ever gone through Greek life in Alabama. I had the most miserable experience from start to finish. I'm going to have to do, like, a whole episode on it because it was just awful in every single way. But I was only in it for like 2 weeks, and it was so terrible for me that I think it was a huge part of why I wanted to transfer. I mean, there were much bigger factors, but I was just like, this is like the Greek life school, and like I don't feel accepted by like the Greek life community here. Like, how am I ever going to go to another school or like find another organization or group of people to be friends with when like everybody's telling me this is going to be your friend group. Like, you're going to meet your people.
Yeah.
I literally didn't have one friend,
Yeah.
not one friend in my sorority.
Yeah,
it just wasn't meant to be. And then I came to BU, and the first thing I did at BU, I transferred the beginning of my sophomore year. So I go through fall just like Luisa did. Fall, there's no rush. And the whole time I'm like, I want to rush. I never got like initiated. So I was allowed to rush again. And I was like, I want to do it. I feel like the girls here that go through recruitment are like more than, I'm going to vibe with them more than like the group of girls that I was in a sorority with at Alabama. And then I ended up taking a job. I got involved, which I'm so proud of myself for doing because I didn't know if I was going to. Took a job with the hockey team. It was the biggest life and time commitment ever. And then finally spring semester comes around. I'm so excited. I like didn't really have girlfriends at BU yet. I'm like, I'm going to find my girlfriends this semester. This is great. I couldn't go through rush because we had an away hockey game. And I was so sad. I was like, this is how I was going to find my college friends. Like, this is all I needed to do. And it's literally like Bama was like a 10-day recruitment process. BU's what, 2?
Yeah.
Like 4? It's like a weekend.
But yeah, 4.
Like, I was like, it's going to be like so easy. It's going to be
Not to mention my Julia was the president.
Yes, like your best friend was
Yeah.
like the president of the sorority that I wanted to be in. She told me to rush.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I wanted to be in the sorority and then that president was like, you should come through recruitment. It would be so fun. You would love it. I was so excited. Found out I couldn't rush and I was like, you know what? I don't need to be in the sorority to be friends with these girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally think every single friend I have at BU was in your sorority and I wasn't, and like that didn't matter to you guys, which is like the best thing ever because there's when I was at Bama, I can't even make this up. I would be talking to somebody at a bar and like say I was talking to a guy, he would literally be like, "Hey, I'm Brad," and I'd be like, "I'm Kat." He'd be like, "What sorority are you in?"
Mm-hmm.
It's more important than where are you from. It's more important than
That's disgusting.
what's your astrology sign. It's more important than like, I don't know, like
Your hair color.
she literally like it's the sorority you identify yourself with. Your first 2 weeks at school defines you as a person at some schools. And it's literally insane. And I was so thankful that I could I mean, it defines you to a point where, like, you let it define you. Because after that, after I learned that, like, I didn't need to be in a sorority, I still had fun. I would just be like, nah, I'm not in them. Like, they're not really my thing. And, like, some people would look down on it. But at the end of the day, if they look down on it, then they're not your people regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, if you're going to do Greek life, if Greek life's non-existent at your school, regardless, get involved in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got involved by working for the hockey team. And then I met my girlfriends because you guys are best friends with all the hockey guys. Like, the hockey guys would be like, Kat, come out with us. I'd go out with them. And then they'd introduce me to all their best girlfriends, their, like, dating girlfriends, everybody, like, their other guy friends. And that's how I met my people. So, like, if you get involved, you'll meet people through getting involved with the school or an organization or a job in some way, whether it's Greek life or not.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say that I definitely got lucky because, again, like, you went through recruitment and, like, you thought that you were going to have, like, be in the sorority that you wanted, right? And, like, you didn't like any of the girls that were in it. And so I will say that, like, I did get lucky because well, first of all, also I will say if you're going through recruitment, like, if you hear any, like, negative, don't look anything up. Don't look stuff up. Like, just don't do it. Like, I understand me as a freshman, I didn't just because I didn't know enough. But, like, if I would have known, I would have looked it up. Don't look it up. Like, literally just don't have
Form your own opinions.
But seriously, because I understand, like, I can't stress it enough because I know that freshmen are going to come in and still look stuff up. But, like, just don't, because
it also everything changes so much, literally year to year. Like, it's like if they say this sorority is like this type of girls, it could literally change in one pledge class.
Literally.
So
like,
fast.
I've graduated and, like, I already see, like, my sorority is, like, looking like
like it's
has
different.
changed.
It's like different personalities
in multiple ways. Yeah. And so I'm just saying, like, the recruitment is nice for girls that are going through too, because you're literally, like, they're interviewing. It's basically like they're pitching their sorority to you, but you're also, like, accepting who you want. So, like, it's like this will set the tone for you for the next 4 years if you do stay in. So, like, just think about that. Like, these are your next 4 years. Like, how happy do you want to be, like, with people that you know are like you? So, like,
and the next 4 years, you're never stuck to anything. Ever.
Yeah.
You're never. If you join a sorority and you don't like it, you can leave. If you get a job, you can quit. If you get a job and want to upgrade it, you can upgrade it. Like, I had a completely different position with the hockey team the first year than I did
the second year,
the second and third year. So,
but again,
get involved.
If you do hate it, you could obviously drop out. There's nothing wrong. Like, yeah.
This just makes me laugh.
What? I'm scared.
Advice for classes.
Classes.
Like, it's like you think that's gonna be the easiest part of college, and, like, socially,
I thought you meant class.
I mean class.
Oh.
Like, I wrote is
no. Well, no.
My first college class ever. I texted my big sister, and we have a screenshot of it to this day because it's the funniest message I've ever sent. I text her, I'm like, oh my God, Annie, like, I'm freaking out. She's like, why? And I'm like, can I eat in class in college? I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm like, high school, like we could have lunch at our desks. Like, and then I sat down and I remember I whipped open a granola bar. I was starving. And I literally, people started looking at me. And it's just because everybody looks at each other in college. No one actually cares what you're doing. But I literally texted Annie. I'm like, Annie, am I not supposed to eat in class? Like freaking out. And she's like, LMAO, I'm dead. Yes, you can eat in class. Like, it's not a big... It was literally a huge lecture hall. Like, there's no way the professor could even see me from where he was.
Yeah, so going off of that, like, I feel like you're not prepared at all.
No.
Class-wise or anything-wise. Like, high school is such a, like, confined... my school is huge, and I still thought this way. Like, professors literally... don't know. Well, if you're in a huge lecture like that, like they don't know who you are. Like, of course you can eat. I don't even
like it was
I don't even know how to begin because there's so many things academically that I didn't know going in.
I think like first and foremost, nobody cares what you're doing. I saw a TikTok the other day and it was like things that are embarrassing in college for no reason, and it was like picking a seat for class. No one cares what you're doing. And like, especially the classes when you walk in, the doors in the front and it's a lecture hall and like you think people are looking at you. No one cares what you're doing. Everyone's in the same boat. They're like, oh, who's this person in class? So don't be intimidated by it. Don't be intimidated by people. Everyone has an RBF, resting biatch face. Everyone has it. Like, no one cares what you're doing. Don't be self-conscious because everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's like, oh, we have to be here. Like,
everyone is in the same boat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially big lecture halls. Like,
yeah,
they're intimidating because you walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, like, holy shit, look at all these chairs. But, like, literally no one knows you're there. No one knows you're there.
No. Would definitely say try to make a friend in your class. I think the easiest way to bond with people in your class is, like, if you're sitting next to someone, like, you feel like you can kind of like feel out their vibe. Like I would always be like, are they taking like 1,000 notes per page or kind of taking notes? Because I'm like a kind of taking notes girl. And then just like I would always just bond with people and being like, did the professor even tell us we have a quiz next week? Like just acting like something absurd's going on, and then like they'll just agree with you because everyone agrees with you in college. And then we talk and then like get their number. Like having friends in your class, not even friends, like acquaintances.
Game changer.
Exactly.
Game changer.
If you ever have a question about homework and assignment, you can just text them. Like, it'll help you 100%.
And you're in college. Like, you can pick what classes you go to. Don't get anything earlier than 9.
No.
Well, because of me, I am walking in and I'm like, I had high school at 7:30. Of course I can do this. Or 7, whatever it was. No. Like, it's not the same.
No.
Do not
Oh,
do
my
8 a.m.s.
God, no.
Don't pick 8 a.m.s.
No.
If you
8 a.m. when you're in high school is 8 a.m. 8 a.m. when you're in college is 4 a.m.
Yeah. Like,
They're different time zones. When you go to college, the time zone changes. You can't do an 8 a.m. in college, period.
Literally,
it changes.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just do not do it.
Once you get into college, it's just your time zone. You have daylight savings like 4 hours.
Right. And yes. And I will say, like, not only that, but okay, BU, I'm going to give a little disclaimer. Okay. BU is the hardest school to get an A in.
It is.
Number
Fun
one,
fact.
Still, go look it up. Look it up. Right?
The hardest school, the hardest college or university to get an A in is BU.
More than Ivy Leagues, anything. And so that's what I always use as my like little excuse, you know, when I was doing bad. But freshman year, I had no idea what was coming for me because I had always done so good in high school. Like, got into BU, and then my classes were just, like, not easy. And I expected them to be, like, oh, like, I go to class and then I'll just do good because that's how I did before. But, like, no. I didn't know how to study until junior year fall did I start doing well in college because I found out how to study.
It's so different, college to high school. It's like you have to put in the effort to learn. No professor is going to hold your hand and make sure you're understanding the material.
Like, it's all on
you. So make sure you're staying involved, staying engaged, 110%. Get a resource in class that you can be friends with. If you ever miss a day, like you can miss a day of class. If you have somebody that will be like, yeah, I got you for the notes today, just be like, I'll get you next time. It helps you so much. If you miss one class and have no resources in the class and it like wasn't a good excuse for missing class, so you don't want to email your professor, you're screwed. You could have a quiz, an exam the next class and have no idea.
Literally no idea. Exactly. And that's the new thing about college. And that's why I think that they tell you in high school, like in college, like you're on your own, like it's all up to you, whatever. And it is all up to you because your motivation is like on you. But I will say, like, when they say like, oh, in college, like, your professors are not gonna like this or whatever. No, like the professors are way more chill. And I don't know if you can agree with me, but on that,
100%.
But like everything, like eating, for example, going to the bathroom, like you'll never ask to go to the. If you raise your hand to go to the bathroom, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?" Like, just go to the bathroom. Like, take yourself to the bathroom. Like, you're an adult. I remember it being so intimidating for me, especially in going into the business school to like talk to my professors. But like as a junior, then I would like talk to my freshman year professors, and like that is what matters. Not even your grades, not your grades. No, be
networking.
Boys with the professor. Like literally do it. Even I don't even care if you don't go to office hours. I wasn't good with that. Like, I'm not going to say go to office hours when I didn't, but, like, be friends with them. Like, one of my professors that I was literally just so close with will write me any recommendation letter that I ask of him, even though I did not do well in his class. Just because, like, I was friends with him and, like, I showed him
he knows
that I
the
was
person
trying.
that you are.
Yeah.
Some people are so much better, like, in person than they are on paper and exams and stuff. And like the most important thing about college, like I was so excited to go to college because I hated learning about stuff that I didn't care about in high school. When you go to college and you're taking classes for your degree, which should be something that you care about, those professors are in your industry. They have so many connections. They have so much advice. Like regardless of if you're listening to something they're teaching out of textbook or you have a real conversation with them, everything they're saying is important. And I genuinely believe, like I just graduated from BU, the biggest thing to come out of my experience with BU, like isn't even necessarily my degree. I'm sorry, Dad, but it's the relationships I built with the people there, the networking I have from my experience going there that's priceless.
Exactly. Well, just the person that I have become, you know, that I wish that was what my degree was.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Not even like don't get me wrong.
The growth you've had.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. What I've learned is obviously huge. You know,
but do you even know your college GPA? Like, do you know it?
I looked it up the other day, but
but before, why did you look it up the other day?
Because
you just ruined my whole question.
Me.
Oh, okay.
But no,
Little
I didn't
Luisa.
know. I did not know my GPA. No,
I don't know what I graduated
GPA
with.
doesn't matter. Well, I will say that.
I mean, if you're going to grad school, but
yeah.
I'm not going back to school. I can tell you that much. But
I've always had plans, but just because it's like that's the plan.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't really even know if I'm going to.
Classes, no one cares what you're doing. Become friends with your professor. You will 100% appreciate it. You'll never regret doing that. You're not stuck to your schedule. If you go to a class syllabus week and you hate it, you can switch your schedule. Always go on ratemyprofessors.com. See what people say about your professors. Always. I don't pick a class without going to Rate My Professors.
And if it's a low score, I won't
never,
pick it.
Never.
Period.
Because think about how much you had to have loved that professor or hated that professor to write a Rate My Professors about it.
Because I've never written a Rate My Professor.
I've written one.
There you go. You probably hated her or him.
I did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the people that, it's like Yelp reviews. Like the people that take the time to write a review on Yelp or Rate My Professor, they either hated that professor so much or would name their firstborn after the professor, and there's no in between.
Exactly.
So
yeah. And I've written one Yelp review.
I had one
very strongly worded
awful experience with one professor, and it was a heat of the moment. I was so mad, and I was like, you know what, I'm going on Rate My Professor because they were a new professor to the school, and there were none. And I was like, I need to warn people.
Happy you.
And yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I need to warn people. So out of all my years of college, I did one, and it was like the most upset I've ever been in a class with a professor ever. So yeah, do not.
Go on, Rate My Professor.
Rate My
Go on,
Professor.
Rate My Professor.
110%.
Always. Also, don't choose class on Fridays. That's just like
common sense.
When
never
you
do
get
that.
older, like when you like are a sophomore, junior, senior, you understand like you will never put class on Fridays. But like coming in, you're like, oh, whatever. Like 7 to 2:30 again. That schedule is not the same in college. Don't do it.
Nope. And lastly, don't buy your books until you have to. The amount of classes that will have books on the syllabus that you will never, ever, ever need to open. Don't waste your money. Don't buy books until you know you have to. Go in Facebook groups at your school and see if somebody's selling the book for 1/8 of the price that it's on the school bookstore.
But
at.
like when she says till you have to, like literally until you think that it is vital for your like first midterm grade. Like I'm not
most of
kidding.
them
Like,
you can find for
the
free. online.
professors will say you need this book. You do not need the book. You
Most of the time.
I think
I honestly bought like 3 to 4 books in college.
most of the time. I think
Freshman year I bought all of them before
freshman
classes
year,
even started.
Bought all of them. Didn't use one.
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
And again, if you make a friend in the class, you can borrow their book and then you don't have to buy it.
Right, but also look for online options always, because there's always, even in your like school database library. I don't think I would have ever thought about this until later on, but like go on your school library and like they maybe will have a PDF of the book. Like so many online sites have PDFs of the book, so like look for that first.
All right, out of academics into social life.
Oh, social life, baby.
I don't even know how to like put this because no matter what I say, we'll never do Luisa justice.
Oh
Luisa's the queen of boys.
Oh my god. That's cap. That's cap. That's a lie. You guys, she's really hyping me up. That's not true.
Luisa is the queen of boys. Her boyfriend list is iconic, period.
I thought you were
Exclamation
gonna say
point.
boyfriend, period.
No,
I was
I'm
like,
saying like not actual boyfriends, but boys. You're iconic. You really are. You truly are. I don't think anybody like has as iconic as a boy's resume as you do.
no, that's a lie.
Are college boys different than high school boys?
That's just
Where do I begin?
if I could just laugh at that, like, yes, like if that was
In every way, shape, and form.
in every way, shape, or form.
Majority of people,
Yes.
the boys that you go to high school with, you've known like your whole entire life. You get to college, you're meeting these boys for the first time. They know nothing about you. Like I literally think every boy I went to high school with like knows my family, like has known me since I was like in kindergarten. I just went to a public school, like, and then you get to college and it's all these people who have no idea who you are. They don't know where you're from. They don't know your background. They don't know like what your values
Or
are.
your state.
Literally
Your state.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
And it shows.
And it shows. It's so different. But it's nice because you can pick and choose, you know? But like
You can reinvent yourself.
you can reinvent yourself. Well, also like there's just you will become a different person, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Not completely, like obviously not completely, but like you will grow so much. But the boys.
The attitudes are black and white. So different.
Well, I want to even just like not even freshman year, because freshman year I feel like there's still like.
But when you're a freshman, you start to meet the older college boys.
Oh yeah, that's a game changer. Like you're like, oh my god, who is this like man that's talking to me? Like,
Man.
like you're a man. Like it's completely different. Like completely.
It's
different.
high school boys and college men.
But also, let me just go back and say that no, there are many college boys too.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah.
They're grown up in like different ways, but they're still not. Like,
Exactly. They're growing up in different ways, but they literally just can't have.
I
their
don't even
mom.
know how to like group it all into one, but your experiences with boys will be so different in college than it was in high school, period.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like
No.
they're away from their mom, so like they can't have their mom like holding their hand
Yep.
if they do have like attachment to their mom, I guess.
They're just surrounded by guys.
They're surrounded by guys, so that could be good and bad, but
Mostly
yeah, like that immediately my head goes to like ugh.
But you know what's funny is I've always grown up with so many guy friends. And I went to the University of Alabama. I did not have a guy friend. I think maybe I had maybe one or two. I used to grow up being like surrounded by guy friends. I would be in group chats with just guy friends. Like like I was always like the girl that's like one of the sisters.
Okay.
And then
You
I come to BU. I only had guy friends.
Yeah.
My guy friends were the hockey team. That's
Yeah.
literally, I had 30 guy friends. I didn't have girlfriends my first semester.
Yeah.
So it's different based on where you go, what you do, what you get involved with. But it is funny, like, that I literally didn't have guy friends my whole freshman year.
Yeah.
Like, no guys were interested in, like, being your friend.
No, and I don't think guys are looking for friends freshman year. Like,
No, like, they have their guy friends. They have, like, dorm parties,
And
house parties,
yeah.
their team, their
Yes.
frat.
And they will have, at BU also, you can rush a frat your freshman year. So, like, it's super easy for them. They're, like, fully in it.
do
They're
they
like,
do it
"Let's go."
first semester?
Yeah, they
So-
do it both. They
Okay,
do every
so
semester.
they can run right into it.
Right. So, like, I will say, like, having guy friends from high school at college, that's when it's, like, beneficial because it's, like, they're already in. But, like, the guys that don't know you, they're not going to, like, go out of the way to, like, oh, let's go get lunch just to get to know you.
Yeah,
No.
no.
They're either, like,
They don't want to like
they
be
wanna,
your friend.
They want to
Basically, I feel like literally every single guy you meet in college, you need to friend zone them, and then you can be friends with them.
Right.
Like they'll probably
Right.
hit on you.
Right.
You'll probably be like, no thanks, and then like work it out. Some of them will be salty and just cut you off entirely, but then some of them will be like, all right, I'm.
But
friend
you don't
zoned,
want
it's
those
fine.
because those are the ones that
But,
are,
like, none of them
insecure
are,
and,
like,
you don't want that. Yeah.
Luisa, let's go get coffee. Like none of them. No.
Literally laughing at that. No.
So that's
hilarious.
the difference. Is I feel like most of people have a lot of guy
Right.
friends in high school.
But if you
and-
do meet like guys because of your guy friend, then that's a different story. But I'm just saying the guys that meet you immediately won't be like, I want to know everything about her just to be friends. No, that's not gonna happen.
that's so funny.
But like you'll just start developing them in ways that even not knowing that you're developing friendships, even not knowing that you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Bama, like the one kid I was friends with, like lived down our hall, and when we first got to Bama, I told you I was like the ringleader for trying to do stuff. I was like knocking on doors, like, hey, we're having a party in our dorm. Do you guys want to come? And like that's how I made like one friend doing that, like one guy
Yeah.
friend doing that, and like
And I love that you'd say that like, oh, like I have a lot of guy friends now and whatever. I never did in high school.
really.
Well, it's not even that I never did in high school. That's a lie. Like I did have my friends in high school, but not like my best guy friends that I have now.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean my like genuine guy friends until sophomore year, but didn't become closest to them till junior year.
It takes time. Like
takes
meeting
time.
your people takes time, but it's so worth the ride. And there's
Exactly.
reasons it takes time. It's because then they're like the most genuine friendships ever.
Exactly. And like my junior year spring, that's when I like knew I had the best girl and guy friends ever, and I was so stable in those friendships, and I like knew that those were like stronger than anything I've ever had until junior year spring was that when that happened. So like if you're feeling doubtful, like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna
It only takes 3 years,
Oh,
guys.
it's 2 years. No. Yeah, that doesn't sound like motivating at all. But like my second semester freshman year and my whole sophomore year, I didn't have my friend group. I literally lived with my best friends. But until junior year spring was I like, oh my god, like these are my sisters. I like will have never ending relationships with all of them. And like I know I will die being friends with them. That's what I mean by like you'll be so secure.
This next question.
What is it? I'm so scared.
Have you ever had a boyfriend before? That's not the question,
I
but
thought that was the
before. No.
question. I was like, no, I've never had a boyfriend.
You've never like have you been like exclusive with somebody and they just haven't said like, will you be my girlfriend? Or you just like, well, no.
No. No. I've never had a boyfriend. I'm severely scared of commitment, and also whatever. Let's just not talk about my love life because that's just like a whole different ball.
Well, it was coming from an advice question.
Oh, but I have a lot of advice to give. So me being the single friend, like I have always been the one to give advice to my
Yeah.
friends in relationships my whole life.
We are very therapeutic for our guy friends.
To guys and girlfriends, I would say. Like,
Yes.
And I think that that's maybe one of the big reasons why I'm so scared of relationships and commitment, because my
Right.
22 years of life, I've seen them go through all this like heartbreak and
Right.
stuff, and I'm like, I never want to go through that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I
Literally
just meant like
yesterday.
it's like funny, like all the guys come to us when they have
Oh, but also
problems.
the guys.
That's always
Yeah.
us.
Well, I think it's funny that my girlfriends and my guy, all
Your
of
girlfriends come to you with their boyfriend problems. And you're
I
like,
am the relationship advice giver, and I've never been in a relationship.
you're like, I'm the blind leading the
Yeah.
line, but sure, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go on a marathon.
No, yeah, and I know what to say, and like like I think I give pretty good advice. Would I ever? I don't know if I could ever take that for myself, but I can give it always.
All right, so what's the advice for question? Dump your high school boyfriend.
I will say absolutely dump him and go to college and figure out your life. Well, yeah, you're in high school. You have no idea what's coming for you.
I want to know like
I'm
the actual
20
statistic of high school sweethearts
Me
that make it
too.
nowadays.
And
I
not
know it
to-
was a lot more common like our parents' age, but
Yeah.
now
And not
it's like 1 in a million.
Not to say that I love love. Like, I'm such a proponent on high school sweethearts. I love them. But my
you
own
grow so much as a person
You're
from high school to
18.
college.
I'm like literally completely opposite of what I was then.
If you knew me at Alabama, no, you didn't.
Yeah. If you knew me freshman, sophomore year, no, you didn't. Like, do you know what I mean?
We are
Completely
basically baptized again.
Literally.
Like newborn babies.
Completely.
We're new people.
completely.
Go your separate ways, grow. Don't ever pick a college or a school, or even if you don't go to college, don't pick based on somebody else. If they don't want to go to college, doesn't mean you shouldn't want to go to college. Do your own thing, live your own life. You need to grow on your own. If it's meant to be, it'll be. You'll come back to each other.
Like, I promise you will come back to each other.
But if you
wanna be
don't,
back
it's
together.
fine.
Yeah.
Like when
Like-
you go to high school, you're with your town, you grow up with those people, like it's the only people you're around. You go to college, you'll meet so many new people from so many walks of life. You'll have connections with people you never even imagined having. I think the funniest thing I ever saw about this conversation, and then we'll move on, but it was like a tweet, and it was like, Columbus Day weekend. That's the weekend, like the first one in September, right? When you get to school, it's like the first long weekend.
My birthday,
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. It's a Columbus Day weekend. Everyone goes home to either dump their high school significant other or get back together with them.
Literally.
And there's no in between.
That's
it's like
literally-
it's like you either both went to college, you broke up, you thrived, and it's like the first time you see each other and you're like, oh, I miss you, let's get back together, let's meet all of our college people. Or like you tried to break up and they're like, no, we need to do it in person. So then you go and you see each other in person.
And then you're like, exactly.
Like Columbus Day weekend, like
Yes.
RIP high school
Yeah.
relationships.
See, that's a thing that you would know. I would have no idea.
That's so funny. Well, I would just say overall, most importantly is to take care of yourself. When you move to college, you're away from your family, you're away from your mom telling you what to eat, you're away from the 3-sport athlete that you were in high school. Like your metabolism's different, everything's different. It's so easy to eat bad and like go get drunk and drunk eat everything and like drink too much if no one's monitoring it and like stop working out. Like you need to take care of yourself. You need to think about what your lifestyle was like before you got to college and try to keep it the same or try to improve it, because I am a victim. I don't even think I got the freshman 15. I think I got the freshman 50. And it was so bad. I didn't even know that it was happening to me, but now I can look back and just compare. Have you ever seen this? The comparison of my Alabama ID picture and my most
Brown
recent B.
hair. Yeah.
It's like all in my face, and no one wanted to tell me, because how do you tell someone that? But I fell victim to it. I was the most like athletic person in high school, and then just fully engrossed myself with like the college partying, awful eating habits, and my body felt it hard. But we rebounded, baby. It's all about the rebound.
It's all about the rebound.
It is.
Always. But yeah, I didn't go through it freshman year. Like surprisingly, freshman year, I don't think
A lot of people don't.
No,
and you know
it's
what? I think
sophomore year.
that's what my
It's
sister
sophomore
said.
year.
Yep.
So I will say, because everyone's so like, oh, freshman 15, like whatever. No, it's sophomore year. Like, pay attention to your sophomore year, because I feel like you're like, oh,
You're like, oh, I
got
made it
over
through freshman
yeah,
year.
You're like, I
and
went
then
over
you get
the
older,
slump.
and your
Yeah.
metabolism's slower.
Yeah, and well, especially at BU, you join second semester of freshman year,
Greek
so
life.
your sophomore year is like when you're like actually delving into it. So like my sophomore year, that was when I had my freshman 30 or whatever. Sophomore 60. Like literally terrible. Like I would wake up, I was living in like our sorority house. It wasn't a house, it was an apartment, whatever. And we would like wake up, get like Chinese food for breakfast.
Oh, me and my
Cane's
best
for
friend at
lunch,
Bama,
Domino's
we
for
would wake up
dinner.
and go to Olive Garden every Sunday morning. I remember my order. We would go. It was like all you can eat. When you order from Olive Garden, like your plates are all you can eat. I would go and get the house salad, which like good for me, breadsticks. I think I ate 5 of them. Like I had so many. I'd get like gnocchi soup. I dip the breadsticks in. It's literally little pasta balls in soup. I dip the breadsticks in the pasta balls, eat them, and then get a plate of 4 cheese angel hair pasta
And that was
every Sunday. And the night before.
And-
Not saying I didn't eat the night before. I got like Buffalo Wild Wings,
Oh, yeah.
Domino's,
Oh, yeah.
breadsticks, everything
yeah.
the night before. And it's so easy to fall into it.
And
Don't. It's a trap.
Yeah.
Anything else? College, freshman year self. So this is basically an episode dedicated to your little sister. Like the advice we wish we could
Yeah,
give.
legit. And like I have given, like I was so ready for her to go to college, for me to be like, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do. But I think that what I told her is like, but also like I hate this too, but I knew that she wanted to go through a sorority. And so I was like, just be careful about like what you do when you're out, because they really care about like that. And like Image and I hate that. Like, I'm not saying that I support that, but I'm saying like I wanted her to be in a sorority. I was in one too, so like I was like, this is what they care about at the end of the day, whatever. But I'm
Oh my God, I just remembered something. This is so important. My freshman year at Alabama, one time a professor brought a guest speaker into our class. We'd never met this speaker before. It was a communications class. He came to this class and handed out pieces of paper. These pieces of paper were screenshots from my classmates' Instagrams, and he circled every single thing in the pictures that would make a future employer not hire you.
Oh, we did that at BU.
Did you? Is this like a thing?
Well, only for the
I
business
was
school.
legit appalled. There, like one of the girls I was friends with in the class, I never like posted alcohol on my Instagram just because my parents like engraved it in me, like, don't do that, like it's so bad, and
Same.
I never did. But like one of my girlfriends, she had like not even like beer cans, like red Solo cups in her pictures. They literally circled it, and they're like, you're canceled. Like he was like, you will not get a job for this, you won't get a job for this, like, and it was insane. So be careful what you post, no matter what the norm is. Be careful what like the sounds and the backgrounds of your TikToks are, like everything. I just be so mindful
Everything.
of your presence, especially on social media in this social age.
Yeah.
Because if people
100%.
hear your name, or some like in college, like they hear your name, they're gonna look you up. If like someone's like, oh, I'm taking this girl on my date party, like their friends will look you up. Like I hate to say it, but like people will judge you on your social media presence, and that it's not necessarily a bad thing to say, because it's like employers will do the same. If you're public, they can look right at it and say, this is who we want to represent our company or not.
And I can say this now because I'm graduated, but like when like my sorority would be like, oh, don't post that with alcohol. It's like,
Oh, I
you're
need to do a whole episode
yeah, you do.
of messed up things, sororities.
But it's like my sorority gave me everything and all my friends, and I'm so grateful for that. But like when I look back and I'm like, oh, I didn't go out during recruitment because they were scared that like people in the sorority would see like people going through. Is that?
I just said she went out. You're not.
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I went out. Yeah, I went out. I literally.
That was the best part about being the friend that's not in the sorority, is like when they were on lockdown, they'd low key be like, Kat, let's go do
like
something.
I was that person. Like during
I was
recruitment,
the
you're not
buffer.
supposed. What are they gonna do to me now? But what, you know what I mean? But like during recruitment, we were like, oh my god, we can't go out. And like me and my friend, who I will not disclose because I won't take her down with me, but like we would like put like our going out clothes and then put like our like sweatpants on top, leave the dorm so that nobody that like was at the school could actually catch us, because a lot of Greek life lives like where we lived, and went out. And like nobody in Greek life is supposed to go out, so like if we caught each other, then like we're both in the wrong. So
It's literally like that Spider-Man meme that's like,
literally, so
you're
what
all
I
pointing at
yeah.
each other. It's like we're all in the
Yeah,
wrong.
so what I'm
Except for
saying-
me, I'm over there like,
It's like I'm 21 years old and a soror. Like, who's telling me not to go out? Like, how is that even like allowed? You know? So it's like that stuff. I will say take with a grain of salt. But
Yeah.
that's also like I'm saying like my sorority experience. I don't know about really intense sorority experiences, but like if your sorority's telling you not to go out and you're 21 and like
Bama, you can't go to
out,
the bars your first semester. You can't go. You don't get initiated until second semester. You can't go to a bar until second semester.
See, that's I think.
But do your thing. I mean, there's other ways you can have fun. There's literally a million frat
And I don't
parties,
think
and I
that-
have friends that
I would even get into a bar first semester. You know?
Yeah.
But like I'm just saying like
Well, of course not. We're underage. None of us went to bars until we were 21.
none of us.
All right.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Be healthy. You know.
Be healthy. Have fun.
Don't do drugs.
Stay in school. Always travel with a buddy.
Always be with someone.
always have your AirPods charged. Always remember.
Don't have your AirPods in if you're walking home alone at night.
Always wear your masks. And that's it.
Be socially distant.
That's honestly, in one episode, everything I wish I could tell my freshman year self.
Yeah, I think that really sums it up. Like, I would have loved to hear this and be like, okay, you know,
Freshman year
we covered
kitty.
it. There's obviously.
Hope she would had a little notepad listening.
I wish. There's obviously a lot of things pertaining to your specific school. Like, oh my God, get a freaking trash can for when you go into, you know. But like, I'm saying, like, these cover like the.
Yeah. Here's our umbrella of everything we wish we could tell our freshman year selves.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Girls in college, you're welcome. We just blessed you with everything we did wrong in college so you don't do it wrong.
Exactly. Especially if you go to BU. Like, you're welcome.
Well, enjoy, Luisa. There couldn't have been a more perfect person for my first episode, especially this topic. You're like, forever will be like one of the queens of college in my eyes.
Thank you for saying that. I don't think so. I don't think of myself that way, but thank you.
Well, everybody else does.
Well, that's God.
She walks into the bar and they just give her shots for free because everyone loves her so much.
That's Cap.
Luisa Nunez, everybody. She's the best. I'm so
Katherine's
thankful for
the best.
you coming on.
And this is going to be the best podcast ever. That's all I have to
Thank
say.
you. I'm so excited for this.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be a good ride, but this is pretty much a big summary of what Chicks University is going to be like for all of you. So I hope you guys loved it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.